This part begins. And Yueling has completely mastered the heavenly supreme palm, and seeing this people say, such an immense and overwhelming supreme energy. Could it be that the ancestor truly taught Princess Yueling everything in such a short time? Then Ning Tian starts leaving from there, and he says, I'll be going now. But then Howren says to the divine ruler, Father, are we really letting him go like that? What if he's deceiving us? But the divine ruler says, the legendary ancestor of the heavenly demon sect is extremely clever. Considering the strained relations between the Orthodox Alliance and the heavenly demon sect, he wouldn't be foolish enough to create more enemies for the sect. And now Yueling comes down, and the divine ruler asks her, Yueling, how is it? So Yueling says, reporting to Father, I have fully mastered the highest form of the supreme Hunyuan palm. And when Howren hears this he gets surprised, and he says, the highest form? It's been such a short time, and you've progressed from beginner to ultimate mastery. How did I not realize before that you are also a peerless genius? And Howren thinks, Yueling has always regarded me as her rival. Now that he has mastered the supreme Hunyuan palm, my position is bound to be impacted significantly. Then the divine ruler says, Yueling, are you certain of what you're saying? So Yueling says, words are meaningless. You can all judge for yourself. Then Yueling gathers spiritual energy in her hands, and shows her power level to all, and the divine ruler gets surprised on seeing it, and he says, as expected, it's the supreme highest form of the supreme palm. Supreme Divine Kingdom has finally produced a peerless genius after so many years. And on hearing this, all disciples become very happy, and they send congratulations to the divine ruler and congratulate him. Then Yueling says, no, this has nothing to do with me. I am not some peerless genius. All of this is the work of the ancestor. The ancestor created thousands of ways to understand the supreme Hunyuan palm. Every method is meticulously recorded, from beginner to ultimate mastery. As long as you are a normal person and follow the ancestors' recorded steps, you can easily reach the highest form. And the divine ruler says, thousands of methods? But he mastered the supreme Hunyuan palm in just a few days. How is that possible? Truly deserving of the illustrious reputation of the heavenly demon sect's ancestor. Yueling, is what you said true? Then can you? And Yueling says, Father, I know what you want to say. However, it seems the ancestor must have employed some minor trick. When I chose one method, the rest of the comprehension techniques disappeared, and the divine ruler says, enough? As long as someone from my divine kingdom can inherit the teachings of the ancestor, that's all that matters. Transmit my imperial decree. For this moment on, no one is allowed to provoke the heavenly demon sect. Anyone who disobeys will have their entire clan exterminated. And all the disciples say, we obey the decree of the king. But Howren says, Father, isn't this unnecessary? If words spread, won't it seem like our supreme divine kingdom is afraid of the heavenly demon sect? And the divine ruler says, short-sighted. The heavenly demon sect's ancestor, and the sacred lord of the Jade Pool, do you wish to provoke two formidable enemies for our supreme divine kingdom? The legendary ancestor is far more formidable than we initially thought. Then we see Ning Tian, who is going somewhere, and he is saying, I got so carried away, I forgot the most important thing. I should have stayed to enjoy their shock. There might have been some rewards too. And then the Holy Sun comes to Ning Tian while he is running and he says, Ancestor, I've finally found you. And Ning Tian asks, why are you waiting for me? But the Holy Sun starts taking Ning Tian with him somewhere, and he says, Sister Tianxuan is looking for you. Hurry and come to the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion. And Ning Tian says, huh? What does she want from me? Then the Holy Sun brings Ning Tian to the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion. And there are many soldiers who are standing there to greet Ning Tian. And Ning Tian comes there and he says, what an impressive display. And then Tianxuan comes to meet Ning Tian and she says, I've long heard of your legendary reputation. Seeing you today, you truly are handsome, extraordinary and unparalleled. It is an honor for my Heavenly Treasure Pavilion to bask in your presence. I didn't expect the mysterious emperor at the auction to be the legendary ancestor. Ancestor, you are truly remarkable. And Ning Tian says, Nor did I expect the top auctioneer of the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion to be its pavilion master. You are not ordinary yourself. And Tianxuan thinks very few people can resist the interference of the fragrance of enchantment. How is he so composed? And Tianxuan says, with just king realm strength, he's managed to deceive several emperors present. That kind of audacity alone commands respect. And Ning Tian says, so, master of the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion, what brings you here today? And Tianxuan says, this is the spiritual currency that the ancestor paid during the auction a few days ago. The Heavenly Treasure Pavilion has returned it in full, hoping the ancestor would consider establishing a commercial partnership between the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion and the Heavenly Demon Sect. And Ning Tian says to Tianxuan, tell me more. So Tianxuan tells Ning Tian more and she says, our Heavenly Treasure Pavilion is willing to provide these resources and offer a 30% discount to the Heavenly Demon Sect. Surely, the vast Heavenly Demon Sect must need a significant amount of pills, weapons, and other cultivation materials. And Ning Tian asks, and your conditions? And Ning Tian thinks, in such large quantities, a 30% discount would indeed save significant expenses. But why is the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion being so generous? So Tianxuan says there are no conditions. I simply admire the ancestor, and wish to befriend you and the Heavenly Demon Sect. And Ning Tian says, throughout history, free things tend to be the most costly. I'll deliberate this matter upon my return before making a decision. And Tianxuan says, of course. If the ancestor is interred, you can contact me through Zhu Yuanbao at any time. And Ning Tian asks the Holy Sun to leave from here, and Tianxuan says to Ning Tian, ancestor, would you like for me to escort you back? And Ning Tian says, there's no need. I don't like being indebted to anyone. Then Ning Tian leaves from there. And Tianxuan is standing there watching, and then a man comes from behind her and he says, Master, is there really a need to be this accommodating to the ancestor? And Tianxuan says, Old Tzu, say no more. As a merchant, one must understand trade-offs. The more you invest, the greater your returns. This person. He's worth it. Then the scene shifts to Tianling region, western continent of the demonic sect. And we see Luo witching, and she says to the Grand Elder, have the people from the Orthodox Alliance calmed down recently? And the Grand Elder says, not at all. I've heard a peerless genius has recently emerged from their ranks, which has made them even more arrogant, and, in some ways, more excessive. And Luo Witching says, I see. Pass the word down. If anyone encounters those people from the Orthodox Alliance, show no mercy, hold nothing back. And the Grand Elder says, yes, I heard that the Supreme Divine Kingdom has recently been thrown into chaos by someone named Ning Shu. Not only was their secret realm looted, but I've also heard rumors that he even disrupted the succession process of their royal heir. Is that true? And Luo Witching thinks, Ning Shu? Could it be? It's been quite some time now. I wonder how he's doing. And then someone says, everyone, it's been a while. Your patriarch has returned. And we see that Ning Tian has arrived there, and as Ning Tian comes down he says to Luo Witching, Wife, did you miss me? But Luo Witching says, not really. But Ning Tian hugs Luo Witching and says to her, but I miss you so much. And the Grand Elder says, Patriarch, did you gain anything from your travels this time? So Ning Tian takes out many storage rings, and a lot of treasures come out of them which everyone is shocked to see. And Luo Witching asks Ning Tian, cultivation techniques, spirit coins, and crystal essence stones. Ning Tian, did you go robbing people? And the Grand Elder says, putting aside those 5 billion spirit coins, just the crystal essence stones alone are worth an astronomical amount. And then the system says, you've shocked Luo Wujing. You've shocked the Grand Elder. Reward faith cultivation range increased from tens of meters to hundreds of meters. And Ning Tian says, Wife, let me tell you everything slowly. 1 incense stick time later. Ning Tian tells Luo Witching everything, and Luo Witching says, so, you actually won a bet with the Supreme Sovereign of the Divine Kingdom? What was the wager? And the Grand Elder says, goodness gracious, you actually made a bet with an Emperor-level powerhouse. I never would have dared to dream of such a thing in my lifetime. Patriarch, did the Supreme Sovereign get so angry he nearly died? Won't this make the divine kingdom hostile toward our demonic sect? And Ning Tian says, not at all. He should be thanking me. After all, I've given him an excellent heir. And Ning Tian says, it's getting late, and the weather's a bit chilly. Grand Elder, you should head back to rest early. And Luo Wuqing says, chilly? It's not dark yet, and the weather is pleasant right now. And Ning Tian comes close to Luo Wuqing and he says, separation makes the heart grow fonder. Why wait until nightfall? Grand Elder, please take these items and keep them safe for me. We'll properly divide them tomorrow. And Ning Tian takes Luo Wuqing with him, and leaves. And the Grand Elder just stands and watches. Then we see that Ning Tian takes Luo Wuqing in his lap and brings her to the bedroom, and puts her on the bed. And Luo Wuqing says to Ning Tian, let me go. There are so many people watching. How can you act 5-0 brazenly in broad daylight? And Ning Tian says, brazen? Wife, are you thinking of something improper? And Luo Wuqing says, I am not. So Ning Tian says, all right, I won't tease you anymore. I wanted to discuss something with you. And Luo Wuqing asks, what is it? And Ning Tian says, there are two matters. First, Tianbao Pavilion wants to collaborate with our demonic sect, and has agreed to provide resources at a 30% discount. Second, I'd like to use the 5 billion spirit coins and 5,000 crystal essence stones to build a teleportation pillar with the Jade Pool Holy Land. And Luo Wuqing says, the demonic sect's expenses are relatively big. If we can collaborate with Tianbao Pavilion, the remaining funds can be used for other purposes. We could start by trying the partnership temporarily. And Ning Tian says, given the current tensions between the Orthodox Alliance and us, wouldn't having another ally be advantageous if a conflict arises in the future? Among all the powers in Tianling region, the Jade Pool Holy Land is probably the most reliable. And Luo Wuqing says the Jade Pool Holy Land has always maintained neutrality. Are you sure they'll agree? And Ning Tian says, don't worry. I can tell that the Queen Mother of the West isn't opposed to my proposal. She'll persuade the others. And Luo Wuqing says, our demonic sect has never allied with any other force since its founding. If it's your suggestion, though, it's worth considering. And Ning Tian gets happy and he says, wife, you're so wise. And Luo Wuqing says, you're this happy because collaborating with the Jade Pool makes it easier for you to meet those vixens, doesn't it? And Ning Tian says, you're jealous, hee. And Ning Tian looks at Luo Wuqing, and Luo Wuqing looks a little sad. And Ning Tian asks Luo Wuqing, you're jealous? So Luo Wuqing says, ridiculous. Would I get jealous over something like this? And Ning Tian again makes Luo Wuqing lie on the bed, and he comes on top of her. Then he says, wife, now that we've discussed serious matters, should we move on to more profound topics? You really didn't miss me at all while I was away? But now Luo Wuqing also doesn't stop and she catches Ning Tian and kisses him. And Ning Tian also gets a bit shocked, and Luo Wuqing says to Ning Tian, what do you think? Then they both start spending quality time in their bedroom. After this the scene shifts, and we see another place. And we see a demon and he says, I am the true demon. Do you think a mere little girl like you can suppress me? And we see the Queen Mother, and she says, impudent. I don't believe you can escape under the soul-locking coffin's seal. And the demon says, Jade Pool Holy Master. As long as you can't kill me, I'll eventually return to see the light of day and bathe the Jade Pool in blood. And the Queen Mother imprisons the demon. Then they come out from there. And the elder says, Holy Master, the Jade Pool has suppressed this true demon for tens of thousands of years, but has never been able to destroy him. And the other elder says, now the power of the seal is gradually declining. And Mira says, it doesn't matter. This soul-locking coffin is an emperor's treasure. He won't be able to stir up any trouble. As for my earlier suggestion to ally with the demonic sect, what do you all think? And another elder says, perhaps we should hold a meeting and hear everyone's opinions. And the Queen Mother says, spread the word. Summon all disciples to the main hall immediately. Let's discuss this major matter together.